Good morning, everybody. Dee Stitcher here. I'm here to do Pam Reed's cross-stitch style tag. So I have my laptop here. I'm going to be looking at my laptop for the questions because for some reason my iPad's not, the YouTube's not working. So I don't know. So I'm just going to start. First question is your favorite fabric. When I'm doing things that are not full coverage, then I prefer 28 count even weave, preferably something sparkly. But if I'm doing full coverage, then I prefer like a 20 count or a 22 count. This guy's 22 count. Yeah. So next question is hoop or frame. I mostly use my quantum frame, which is this one right here. I also use Q-snaps when I'm rotating out my smaller projects. And I also occasionally use a hoop, but not very often. Okay, third question. Do you use a stand or do you hold your frame? Well, when I have the quantum frame or I have a big Q-snap, then I use my Stitch Masters frame. If I'm stitching on the couch and I'm holding a smaller Q-snap, then I just hold it in hand. I also have this, which is just a stand. So it just sits on your lap or it goes like that. What is your favorite time to stitch? My favorite time to stitch is in the morning. I have to get up at 6:30 in the morning to get my daughter on the bus. So after she's on the bus, my other two are still sleeping. So I like to stitch until they wake up. That's my only peaceful time to stitch. I stitch during the day, here and there when I can, and then I stitch in the evening as well, but often in the evening I'm too tired to stitch, so sometimes I don't. So my favorite time to stitch is in the morning, like right now. Do you use a printed paper copy for your chart or digital? That all depends. For my large projects, like my heeds, my Tiltons, and I use my digital copy. For smaller ones, like your Mirabilia or my Glendon Place one, then I use, obviously, the paper chart. Are you a floss looker? Yes, I am a floss looker. The only time I use my needle threader is when I'm using metallic. Do you hoard or buy supplies as needed? I'm a hoarder. I love my charts. I'm a chart collector, and I'm a thread collector, and I'm a fabric collector. Yeah, I like to pull things and make my own projects. Where am I now? What is your favorite floss? DMC. DMC is what I use. Other than my silks, I use Fiberlicious silks and Mo silks. Are you a serial starter or do you have a whip at a time? I don't know if I call myself a serial starter, but I'm definitely not a project at a time. I tend to lose my attention span, and so I have lots of projects on the go. Do you have more FFOs or UFOs? I wouldn't call any of my projects UFOs, even though I have lots of projects, and even though I'm not working on them, I do plan on getting back to them. And I have no FFOs. I don't have money to frame them and stuff, and I don't know how to sew, and I don't even own a sewing machine, so can't do anything with them quite yet, but one day. Do you watch TV while stitching? In the evening I do. I watch TV while I'm stitching. Do you mostly stitch alone, or have you ever stitched with someone? I typically stitch alone, but sometimes I get together with a friend. She lives about 45 minutes away from me, so once in a while I'll go to her house and we'll stitch. And then sometimes we go to retreats and we stitch with a bunch of people. And it's always fun. And there's also the hangouts, which you're sitting in your own home, but you're also stitching with people all over the world, which is awesome. Where am I? Do you like to experiment or alter things on your chart? When it comes to heeds and mirabilias, no, I do not alter those patterns. But when it comes to monochrome or one colored floss like AA, ANN, or whatever, then I like to alter my projects and pick my silks and decide what colors and which fabric, and it's always fun. Do you bobbinate? No, I don't have time to bobbinate. I have my skeins in an envelope like this with the number and the symbol, and the skeins in here. Do you start a project in the middle of your fabric or in the corner? With my big projects, I start in the corner 99% of the time. This guy, I did not start in the middle. I started at the wolf because I was doing this for an event last year for Stitch an Animal, so I wanted to stitch the animal, and I wanted to see how he would turn out. So I started there, but typically I start in the top left corner. When it comes to charts like Mirabilia or my Glendon Place again, or a kit, then I start in the middle. Do you have a whip rotation? Not really. I wouldn't call what I have a rotation. I have certain projects that I have set for the month, but it's not like, okay, I have to do this for 1 week, and I do this for 1 week, and I do this for one. Nah. I'm like, okay, I gotta do my Save the Stitches, so I have my goal for Save the Stitches, so I do that. However long that takes is however long that takes. If it takes 2 days, if it takes 7 days, I don't care. So then when that's done, then I go to my next project. Okay, so then I'm going to work on my flower. Okay, so I work on my flower for the rest of the month. In the evening, okay, I have my Isabel flower. Okay, so I work on that. So whatever I get done, I get done. Whatever I don't get done, I don't get done. It's just whatever. I don't put that kind of stress on myself. I do stitch for fun, and it's not a job. Do you use a timekeeper? No, I don't use a timekeeper because I'm constantly getting up and coming back and getting up and coming back during the day, taking care of the kids. So if I can sit down for 15 minutes, I'll sit down for 15 minutes, and I get up and I go do something else, come back, sit down for 10 minutes. I can't keep track of that. What I do though is I write the start date of my project, and on my big projects like this, when I finish a page, then I write the date down as to when I finish that page. So then I know, okay, it took me 1 month to do this page, it took me 2 months to do this page, da-da-da-da-da. I keep all the pages till the very end of the project, so then I know how long the progression took, and then I throw it on. Do you park your threads? Sometimes. I'm starting to do that. I'm doing that on my world travel bookshelf because the confetti is too horrid to cross-country. But this guy I'm cross-country stitching, so it all depends on the project. My flower I'm also parking somewhat, so it all depends on the project. I am typically a cross-country stitcher though. Do you keep your orts? Yes, I do keep my orts. At Christmas time I get an ornament and I stuff all the orts in there, and then I write the year on it. I also, right about now, I take out some of them and put them outside for the birds to make their nests, because they're just coming back now. And so, yeah. At the end of the year, when I make the ornament, I just stuff the ornament, and then whatever's left I just throw away. But it's nice to keep the orts throughout the year, just to see. You can see the level of different projects in my vase that I have, that I keep them in. So it's always neat to see, and then I just throw them out at the end, whatever I don't use, or whatever the birds, I don't give out to the birds. Do you like to snack or stitch while you're stitching? I don't snack while I stitch. If I do have a snack, I'll take a break and I'll just completely step away from my stitching and have my snack, and then I'll go wash my hands and come back to it. Sorry about that, my camera died, the battery died, so I had to go recharge it for a bit. I believe it cut off at the snack. Do I have a snack? So I answered that part, and for my drink, I have water in the evening, and in the morning I have my coffee, and then once in a while I'll have like juice or pop, rarely. I try to avoid that stuff. Typically it's coffee and water. And that's the last question. So, I almost made it. But thank you, Pam, for creating such a lovely tag. I hope you guys are all doing well. Happy stitching. Enjoy the weather. It's beautiful here in Canada. Sun is shining. We're going to get into the 20s this week. Yay! So, take care of you all, and I'll see you next time at the end of the month for my update. Bye-bye.